So at last, eyewitness accounts are coming out to tell us what actually happened on the Ibom Air. Before we were given this narrative was being pushed forth that the girl was crazy, she acted crazy, she did not obey instructions. She was just out to cause trouble. But from the accounts of the lawyer, and I want to say thank you to the lawyer, thank you very much for having the gumption to actually come out and say what happened, because there were a lot more people on that flight, and a lot of them witnessed what happened, and many of them have not come forth. So kudos to you for coming out and doing the right thing. And so anyway, based on what we're hearing now, it is quite obvious that Comfort Emanson was set up for disgrace. She was set up to be disgraced, intentionally set up to be disgraced by that air hostess. And of course, now she's out of jail. Thank God for that. Why was she taken into jail in the first place? You are not a criminal until you're proven guilty. Like I said, the K1 incident happened, and the guy walked, and he walked because he was a big man, a wealthy person. Someone said he should be given leniency because he's a national icon. You see what we do? In our society, justice is for those who are wealthy. Justice is for the big men, the big people, the people of status, the celebrities. When it comes to ordinary Nigerians, well, they can go to heck. And this is exactly what we've seen with this. If it wasn't for the outcry of some sensible Nigerians, that girl would still be in jail, rotting in Kirikiri, of all places. No jail is a place. But to be put in Kirikiri for misbehaving after a one-sided narrative, that alone, I don't know how many ways that we are going to sue the people, responsible for this. And when this story first came out, some people were saying, oh, the head hostess was polite, she should be given an award, all of that nonsense. All I can say is that I'm sure that particular stupid comment was made by one of our friends, people who know her, some family member. Anyway, like I said, so based on what is coming out now, especially what the lawyer said, the eyewitness, it is obvious that Miss Comfort Emanson was set up to be disgraced. She was set up for a disgrace. And I have several points, at least 4 points, to booster what I'm saying. And the first is, in the lawyer's narrative, he said that the woman said, the air hostess said, I will deal with you. Do you know when Nigerians say I will deal with you? Meaning that she already knew in her head she was going to do something because of the tiny little power that she has. She decided that she would deal with this girl for not obeying her instructions exactly when she wanted those instructions to be obeyed. And so how did she do this? I'll tell you how. We are told in the lawyer's account that when there was time for disembarkment, the lady went to the bathroom. So obviously by the time she came out, everyone was out. And during this time, obviously, the air hostess has called the office and told them in her own word, giving her own lies about what had taken place, because this was made obvious in her comments. Oh, she's breaking the plane, she's destroying the plane. Obviously, it's the same narrative she had told to the office that caused them to send a whole bunch of armies of stupids to come and do what they did to the girl. And so she had used her power to put forward that narrative that the girl was breaking the plane, was destroying the plane. So they came with all their guns to come and put her in her place. And the second is, this girl, we saw in the video that she was desperate to get out, and the air hostess blocked her, prevented her from getting out. And she kept saying, look at her, madam, move from the way. And at this point, of course, only she and the staff were on that plane. And so they had their time with no witness to do what with her, whatever they wanted to do with her. She had no wig on, no longer had a wig on. Her jacket was not even there. And I'm also supposing that they took some of her belongings, because how do you explain someone who was desperate to get off the plane, now not wanting to get off the plane, that they had now to drag her out of the plane? It goes to show that something or her belongings had been taken, and she did not want to leave the plane without having those belongings. Because if you left the plane without your phones or your wig or whatever else had been kicked away from you, there's the absolute guarantee 100% that you won't see those things again. And so, of course, she did not want to leave the plane without those things. Why is it that someone who was desperate to get out of the plane had now to be dragged out of that plane? We need to ask ourselves these questions. And the next thing that we see here is, when the staff from the office came onto the plane, I had one of them say something like, should we wait for, meaning he wanted them to wait for the authorized people, the people who are authorized to deal with this kind of thing. And the lady that also said, no, let's drag her out. And they started dragging her. And at that point, she reached forward and tore the girl's blouse. Go again and look at those videos. You will see that everything I'm saying is true. Drag her out. And they just reached and tore her and dragged her like she was an animal. And then one of them was standing there with the phone, recording the disgrace and humiliation of this girl. We have to do better. Nigerians, we have to do better. And now, because of the outcry and Ibumhe or whatever, the airport people decided to release this girl, not because they're doing her a favor, because they knew that they were in deep trouble. They knew that they were in deep trouble. If they didn't release this girl,